afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Narelle Walk-On, and I'm coming to you from Mackay, Queensland, Australia. Thank you to anyone popping on. Please leave a little chat and say g'day to us all. I have a special guest today, but before I bring our special guest on today, I want to tell you a little bit about why we're doing this, why I'm sharing my story. And the thing is, it relates to things that I've been through in my life, things health-wise that have affected me, and the reason why I chose carnivore. So my name is Narelle Walk-On. As I said, I'm coming in from Mackay, Queensland, and the reason why I looked at carnivore after having many years of trying different diets and things like that, I realized that I'd got to an age where here I am, 63 years old, and I was type 2 diabetic, and I couldn't get my insulin or my medications down any further with what I had been trying or the way that I was eating. Hey, Kenton, lovely to see you. Kenton's coming in from New Zealand, so lovely to see you today. One of the things I found that I suppose I was wondering, how long was I going to be able to commit to insulin, injections twice a day, taking medication, and how was it affecting me as I went into older age? Now, our guest speaker today is also from an older age area or era that we share different things, and we will chat today about a few different things that we've both been through on our journey. Now, like I said, I came in because I didn't want to lose weight necessarily. I wasn't looking at that. And many of you will look at carnivore way of eating as a way of being able to adjust your body weight and bring that weight down. It's not just about what you see on the outside, it's also about what we have on the inside, which is that visceral fat around our organs. You can't see it, and you may even have it even if you're a thinner person. My diabetes I have now been without insulin for 4 weeks, which I'm very proud of myself. I've been carnivore for 7 months. It seems like a long time. And I tell you what, it's gone past quite quickly. In the sense that when I first started, because I'd done some research prior to starting this way of eating, I actually went cold turkey, let's say, and I jumped in 2 feet straight in and did carnivore. And in the first 2 weeks, I can tell you that it was a little bit different for me. I'm a mum. I have 3 children, adult children. I have a granddaughter. And all my life I'd been cooking a certain way because that's the way that we had been explained. That's what we'd been shown to eat. And there are so many different ways that I'm sure all of you have tried to lose weight, even as extensive as having surgery to get that weight off quickly, which is not real good for you at the end of the day. And I just listened to Dr. Berry spoke that 80%, and he is a medical doctor from the US, 80% of those who have the surgery, weight loss surgery, to make your tummy really small, 80% go back to putting on the weight, if not more. They extend their stomach again, they overeat because you're not prepared for it. So coming into carnivore is about preparation as well. And I know that our guest speaker today, whom I'm going to go over to, is going to explain a little bit more about his journey. But we want to hear a little bit about Larry Holt, the man, the carnivore man, and the carnivore pensioner. So welcome, Larry, to our show. Pleasure to have you here and an honour that you are with us today. So thank you so much. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
There we go. Can you hear me now? I'm better if you can hear me. It's a great delight, Narelle, to be invited onto your show. As you said, my name's Larry, sometimes known in the YouTube world as the Carnivore Pensioner. I'm 68 years old, so you're still very young at 62, was it? And I was born, I'm coming from down in Victoria, not too far out of Melbourne, at a place called Pakenham. And I was born just near here 68 years ago, so I've come full circle. We live here on a farm of some 67 acres and got about 60 head of cattle here. We don't own the
Wow.
place, but we get to live in it. It's a beautiful place to live. In my former life, I was a pastor for 30 years. And then after that, I was a funeral celebrant for about 10 years. Then I left that to care for my dad full time during the COVID era before he passed away. And since then, I've just developed a great love for diet and health, and hence why I'm here today. But thank you for the invite.
That's fantastic, Larry. A little bit more about you. Excuse me. I get that nervous cough on lives. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. And I know that you're in Victoria and you spoke about, 67 acres. What a glorious place to live, in the sense that I grew up on a dairy farm, and there's nothing like being out in the open, the fresh air, having your own, like a dairy farm. We had our own milk cream. Mum made her own butter, and we had many things available to us. I suppose that in the city, it's more available at the supermarket. One of the things that you said was there was some cattle on the property, and we will go into that a little bit further on. But what I want to know is your journey into carnivore. Why? Why did you look at carnivore? What was your reasons?
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago now, but it wasn't that long ago. I've been carnivore for 9 months. And it all started for me about a year prior to that when I went to see my GP thinking I should go for my annual checkup, but it had really been closer to 5 years, I think. And of course, she got the blood test done and all the usual things. And when I went back in for the results, she sat me down and she said, "Well, your blood pressure is through the roof and you are insulin resistant, you are pre diabetic, and you've got a fatty liver." She may as well have been talking Chinese because I didn't know what any of that meant. It didn't sound very good. But I said, "Well, what do we do about that?" She said, "I'm going to give you a tablet for the blood pressure." I said, "Okay, that's what doctors do. They give you tablets." So I got my tablets for the blood pressure and I dutifully took them. But after a couple of months, I noticed my blood pressure was not shifting because I was monitoring it at home. And so I went back to see her. She said, "No problem. We're going to double your dose." And after another few months, that still didn't work. So I went back and she said, "We're going to give you two tablets." Now, can you see a
Oh.
pattern here? Um, and it was at that stage where I thought, this is crazy. This is not working. And I got very interested in these other labels that she'd given me, like pre diabetic and fatty liver and insulin resistant. And I began to go on a quest to learn what those things were and what they all meant. So I think in the space of a couple of months, I read about 20 books. I listened to hundreds of YouTube videos of all different types and persuasions. And of course, it wasn't long before I came across the carnivore diet. And I looked at that, and my initial reaction was, that is so extreme. I mean, how could anybody sustain that? You couldn't do that. And yet, I had a good friend who was on it, and he was doing marvelously well and kept telling me how easy it was. And I looked at it again and I thought, well, I am about 20 odd kilos overweight, about 45 pounds or more, and I have got high blood pressure. So I thought, if this would get my blood pressure down and if it would cause me to lose a bit of weight, it'd be worth it. So I thought, I'm going to try it for 3 months. So I jumped in cold turkey and started. The first 2 weeks were hell. But after just 1 month, my blood pressure had dropped right down to normal. And I kept taking my blood pressure every day and it stayed there. So I went back to see my doctor. I said, "My blood pressure's down." And she said, "What did you do?" I said, "I've been losing weight on the carnivore diet." Well, she wasn't very impressed about the carnivore bit, but she said, "Of course your blood pressure is going to be down if you lose weight." Now, I never said anything. I was too polite. But what I thought was, you never told me that. All you did was to give me a pill that didn't
Yeah,
work. And so
absolutely.
I lost the weight in about 3 months. I lost 22 kilos I've lost to date. And I reversed all of those conditions. And my blood pressure's still down. blood glucose is down, my insulin's down, everything's good. Of course, the LDL went through the roof, but I've now gotten onto a
Yeah,
different doctor that understands what happens on carnivore and in a much better place. So that's my story, and
absolutely.
I just thought I've just had so many benefits, not just health benefits, but
Yeah.
mental and psychological benefits, and just in so many ways. I'm calmer, I'm more confident, I think more clearly, I'm more
Mm.
productive. Previously, if I went out for a day, I'd need a rest day afterwards.
Yeah.
Now I can
Yeah.
just go all the time. So that's, I guess,
Yeah.
that's in a nutshell my journey into carnivore, and of course I'm
Absolutely.
not going back.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And like you said, the first 2 weeks were a bit of hell, and for me as well, only because I wasn't prepared for just eating certain things. You know, your life, you grow up, you don't get to our age where you haven't eaten anything or been carnivore for so long. We didn't know about it for a long time, but it's now coming more to the fore here in Australia as well, around the world. There's more in America, I suppose, that are coming out more about it. Medical doctors. These are not just wannabes. These are not just has-beens. These are medical doctors, and there's some very good statistics out there and proven facts as to what carnivore diet can do for us. Now, there are many people out there that are suffering from different things, but we know, since we've been on this for a length of time, I'm 7 months, you're 9 months in, that a lot of our diseases, a lot of our problems in our body come from inflammation. Now, what is inflammation? Now, I'm not going to go on and explain exactly what that is, but I can tell you from many years of my own research that inflammation does cause and can cause many of these new illnesses that seem to be coming to the fore more and more. We didn't hear about these, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And yet there's
Mm.
all different names now for different things. More cancers are coming out. Different cancers are affecting young people now rather than just an old age disease anymore. A lot of our young ones are being affected by these diseases. Now, I wrote down a couple of things because in my short video coming into it, there were, 5 different things or 4 different things that I wrote down. One of them is, and I'd just like you to take a minute for each one and just explain to the people what this actually means. So, simple and satiated. Okay. So, if you can take a minute or so to give your side of that.
It's simple. Eat meat, drink water. I mean, you can't get much simpler than that. And people like to make it complicated, and people want to have books and meal plans and that. And I say, just eat meat. You'll be fine. And of course, it's satiating. If I was to eat a plate of vegetables, I enjoy them less and less now. But I used to think vegetables were quite delicious. But if I ate a plate of vegetables, when I'm finished, I'm still hungry. I want more.
Yeah.
And yet, if you have a good, decent piece of steak, like I had just a couple of hours ago, a beautiful eye fillet steak, beautifully cooked in the Ninja air fryer, and it's just, you've eaten when you've had a piece of steak, and you don't feel like eating again for quite some time. So it's
Hours
quite,
and hours.
it,
Yeah.
it is
And I
very
think it's that,
simple.
that high protein, like the high protein. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about when you're satiated. It's about that, what you're putting into your tummy to keep you full for length of time. So, how many times a day do you eat, Larry?
We generally eat twice a day at the moment, not by making some big decision, just by the way it works out. We have a
Yes.
meal generally, because I'm retired, about 9 o'clock in the morning after my wife's been walking and I do some meditation time, um,
Mm.
which is usually egg and bacon, um, sometimes a sausage or leftover meat from the day before or something like that, but just a simple meal. The other meal
Yeah.
is just always meat of some sort. Roast lamb
Yeah.
is a favourite. That's just delicious. A nice steak, a bit of mince. We try and include some fish. I've tried chicken, but I just don't handle it as well as I used to. So I stick to beef and
Yeah.
lamb and fish predominantly, and they're just the two
Yeah.
meals that we have. The second meal's generally about 3 o'clock, and then I don't eat again till the next morning. So it gives you that added benefit of intermittent fasting as well.
Yeah, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. Intermittent fasting is very much part of the carnivore lifestyle changing and the way we're eating, and there is reasons behind that. So my second one is about reduced cravings. Now, you know that we come from a diet where, if you're anything like me, or a way of eating where it's okay to have a little bit of everything. But the thing was, for me, I was a diabetic, and that little bit of something could have contained more sugar than what I thought. You can't just go into a supermarket now and think that everything that's said on these boxes, everything that's told to you is going to be a fact, because it's not. I have a read of those boxes that say no added sugar, which means that it's still got sugar in it. So
Yeah.
sometimes the hidden things behind. So,
Mm.
about reduced cravings, was there something that you felt like, oh my gosh, I just need that within those first 2 weeks, especially?
Yeah, look, I don't remember cravings as such any time on this journey, including the first 2 weeks. Um, One of the things that's always puzzled me that in any of the Facebook groups that are carnivore based, the question comes up all the time: what snacks can I have? And I sort of react to that and thinking, you don't need snacks. If you're eating meat, you won't be hungry. It's so satiating. And besides, even if I wanted a snack, that's my old life, eating 6, 7, 8 times a day. I don't want to go back there, so I don't want to start snacking again. And I remember a Sunday just a couple of months back. I was watching the football on Sunday afternoon, and the game finished, and we had visitors coming that evening, but we had a couple of hours to fill in. And I said to my wife, "We've got a couple of hours free. We could go for a walk." And she said, "We haven't eaten today." And I had totally forgotten. Like it hadn't even crossed my
Yeah.
mind. Like that would be unheard of if you knew me in my previous life. I'd be eating all the time. So it just changes. You're
Yeah.
just not hungry. And I don't find
I think
cravings an issue.
no, and maybe it's different male to female. Sorry, my internet's going a bit crook at the moment, so forgive me for that. But what I found was I missed the crunch. Okay, so I found that a craving for me was I missed the crunch. Now I was, one of those people that sat down with a cup of tea, biscuit or two or five in the afternoon, just to sort of have that afternoon snack. And I don't snack at all. If I do have a snack, it's a piece of butter. But I miss that crunch. But what I found over time was that I went and bought some pork crackle from the butcher,
Yeah.
and I cooked it up so that it was a crunchy snack. It was still good for me because the fat on the animals is very good and nutritious. I cooked it with some good salt because we use Celtic salt. I use salt of the earth. There are a few other different brands out there which are very, very good. Um, Not your table salt. I've always said that white table salt, that Saxa salt, is just good enough for cleaning your barbecue. That's all it's good for. It's not good for your body. It has no nutrients in it. But what I found was that, yeah, I used to go to the butcher and just buy the pig skin, and I'd cook it high with salt and then break it up, put it in a jar, and I had it there as a snack, but it was a good snack. It was just the crunch I was missing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So one of the things you did talk about when you did share your story was in improved energy. So please continue on with how you felt with your energy levels, particularly because, as we get older, we tend to need that nanny nap or poppy nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So please share with our listeners a bit more about your energy levels.
Well, it's quite dramatic, really. In the first 2 weeks, I really struggled because it was the opposite of having renewed energy. It was having no energy, and I felt like I could hardly get off the couch when I was in
Mm.
those first 2 weeks, and the energy was just drained away. That's what they call the keto flu, often I think. But after those first couple of weeks, it got a lot better, and it got a lot better very quickly. And I found, as I said before, if we'd have a whole day out, one of those big days when you're out all day, I would always say to my wife, I need a rest day the following day where we just veg out and do nothing.
Yeah.
And even if we were, you know, just in normal everyday life, I would very often, not every day, but most days, I would take a nap because I'm tired. Now I never have a nap and I never have a rest day. And when it gets to
Mm.
evening, I still feel like I've got plenty of energy to do whatever we wanted to do. So there's been quite a big difference on that. And that energy just seems to get better. And at my age, it makes a big difference having that energy. You can do more things and you just
Gotcha.
feel better. You haven't got all the aches and
Yeah.
pains, the inflammation. And no, it's very
And that's
noticeable.
another thing. That's another thing, Larry. Sorry for cutting in there. You talk about aches and pains, and as we get older, we do get those aches and pains. Whether it's a knee replacement, hip replacement, sore
Yeah.
legs, swollen legs, like elbows. People get sore elbows, carpal tunnel, sore neck. All those sort of things. So, is there something that you felt it improved not just your energy, but something like aches and pains that it took away?
Yeah, for sure. Where do we start? From the top, head to toe, basically. I did have one thing I had was plantar fasciitis in one of my feet, and it was quite painful and quite debilitating. Once I got up and moving in the mornings, it was tolerable. But it was very debilitating. And I had that for quite some time, a couple of years. And I tried all different things, including injections and all sorts of stuff that wasn't very nice. And it made no difference. But that completely went away on carnivore. And I'd only been on carnivore a month and I went on a 10-kilometer walk. Now, prior to carnivore, I would struggle to walk 1 kilometer, and that would be really pressing it, and I would be very sore afterwards. Um,
Mm.
but just general, like I remember I used to say to my wife often, there's no part of me that doesn't hurt. I'd be sitting on the couch, I'm thinking, that hurts, hurts to stand up, hurts to sit down. All of that's gone. Like
Mm.
you just feel.
That's really amazing. Like I love hearing these stories because it has affected people. Firstly, is high quality nutrition. Now, remember that we're talking to some people coming on that may have only just started or may not have looked at it yet or maybe
Yeah.
researching and they come across our video. So, it's highly nutritional because why?
Yeah, because you're eating meat. Meat is just so full of nutrients. Just Google it sometime, find out what's in a piece of meat, or watch one of the YouTube videos on it. It is packed with nutrients, and people have this fear that they're not going to get enough nutrients. You will get all the nutrients you need from a good piece of meat, and if you are worried, just include a bit of liver or some of the organ meats now and then. Blend them in with the other meats. Don't be aghast at them. They can be quite delicious, and they do add to the nutrients incredibly so. But then there's nutrients in eggs too, lots of nutrients. And if you're having eggs, as most of us do on the carnivore diet, there's nutrients there too. So I don't think it's nutrient deficient at all. I don't take any supplements. Never feel that I'm missing out on anything. You get good at listening to your body, and I just get all good
Absolutely.
signals.
Yeah, and one of the things I think you do learn, like you just said, was we listen to our bodies because remember, we're all made differently. We all sort of have the same makeup, but we have different things that have happened in our life. High stress levels. I'm a published author. I lived through sexual, physical, and mental abuse. All of my life, I think I've been in a sense of stress. Having worry in my life, raising children by myself,
Mm,
it's been a tough life in a sense,
mm,
so
mm.
have a look at who you are. One of the questions that I know that we had spoken earlier about was, what are people eating now? What is your diet like? Are you coming into this having like, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to jump in this because it's the next best thing? If you're doing that, you need to go and do some research, more so now than any time. What Larry and I are sharing today is our stories into carnivore and some of the things associated with that. we do our research. Again, you spoke about eggs, and let me just explain to people that carnivore is usually red meat. Okay, so it can be steak, um, some pork, bacon is good. Make sure that you get the sugar-free stuff. Fish, prawns. My son and I love prawns, especially when they're fresh and nice in season. And you can have some other seafood as well, depending on, again, your body's reaction to those sorts of things. And butter, real butter. Like I used to buy the Coles brand, and now I buy better quality butter, because when I do have a little bit of a craving, because remember, I'm only eating once a day, when I feel a little bit on the lower side, I know my body's telling me that I need a little bit extra today. So I do a lot of stuff. Make a lot of videos. I do a YouTube live on a Wednesday night for myself personally. I'm about my book, my story, and sharing other people's stories, and also carnivore. So I'm kept very busy as well. So sometimes having a piece of butter, believe it or not, it sort of tastes like cheesecake. But butter is very good. But you can cook with ghee, you can cook with tallow, and there's many places available. Go to your local butcher and see if there's something that you can buy from them at a better price rather than going to your supermarkets. I know it's just been, and I can't remember the name of it, that a lot of supermarkets now are doing a trial of injecting this artificial stuff into meats. Don't like it. I am, I'm a sort of a go-between girl on, you know, funds can be limited sometimes, and butchers can be expensive. However, if you're buying a good quality, you're eating the whole thing.
Yeah.
I listened to Dr. Berry earlier, and he spoke about eggs, and he said if you're doing just egg white omelets and stuff like that, he's going to come and kick their butt, because all your nutrition is in the egg yolk.
Yeah.
So you could actually throw away the egg white and not have any problems. Not that you want to do that, because that's waste. However, eggs are very, very good for you. Have a look, is there somebody local in your area that's selling,
Yeah.
fresh eggs and things like that?
Yes.
Support your
Yes.
local people, because that's what this is all
Yes.
about. Getting your meats, getting your
Mm.
eggs. Butter is sort of a little bit hard, and you can make it yourself. I have a Thermomix, and if you want to make butter, it's quite a simple way. It's not much cheaper, but it's certainly a better way of knowing what's in there. I always buy unsalted, because remember, if you're buying salted, you don't know what salt they're using, and they're certainly not using a good Celtic salt, or one that
Mm.
pink Himalayan is another one that some people use.
Mm.
I don't use that very much, and there is a Murray River Australian salt, Murray River salt, which is actually very good too, and I have ordered through them before. So have a look at your stuff, but the best thing you can do that I can suggest for anybody having a look or wanting to have a look at carnivore is start with your research. Dr. Berry, Dr.
Yeah.
Chaffee,
Mm.
have a look. If you just put in into YouTube, okay, there are some groups on Facebook as well. And I know I'm going to come over to you to ask you, Larry, to please share about your socials, what you do. You have a YouTube station as well, a YouTube channel, sorry. We know you as the
Carnivore
carnivore
pension.
pensioner. I had to think about it then. And I am coming to you as Carnivore Aussie style. So there's many of us around. And you know what? This isn't a competition. This is about two people here today sharing their stories that's out there somewhere. Somebody's listening today that will resonate with either one of us, both of
Yeah.
us. We
Mm.
don't know. And I would love to invite anybody who does see this video to, shout out to myself and Larry. We both do like to do interviews. We want to hear your story. We want to hear, even if you want to ask questions and things like that. But please, Larry, go ahead and share and tell our audience today a little about, your channel and your Facebook page.
Yeah, let me just say first of all, you're talking about telling your story, so powerful. Um, People say, "Are you threatened by more carnivore channels starting?" I think just the opposite. I personally have this ambition to get every carnivore starting a YouTube channel and
Yeah.
telling their story. The more voices we get out there, the better. But I started a channel just after I started Carnivore. I never intended to start a channel. It was not my intention. I just thought I've done so well on this, I should record my story. And after I recorded it, I thought, what am I going to do with it? And so I thought, oh, I'll put it on YouTube. And so I just set up a new channel and put that movie up there. I thought, no subscribers, totally unknown, old fella. And next morning when I woke up, I had over 1,000 views and 87 subscribers, I think. And I was just, whoa, where did that come from? And so I went from there. I thought, well, I'll make another one and then another one. And now I've made about 80 videos over the course of about 6 months. And so I've worked pretty hard on it, but just getting as much information out there as I can. So that's the YouTube channel, Carnivore Pensioner. I'm not an expert. I'm just an old guy who wants to be a friend on the road, a companion to talk to discuss things, to celebrate the wins, and to be there when someone's a bit down. And I've also got a Facebook group by the same name, the Carnivore Pensioner. The Facebook group's about 450 people at the moment, I think, last time I looked. And the YouTube channel has about 2,500 subscribers. So it's been hard work, but very rewarding, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, beautiful. And I really like that what you said. It's not about competition. It's just about sharing our story.
Yeah.
People out there, the reason why you have subscribers or people came in is because they're searching for this. They want to know more. And here in Australia and New Zealand and surrounding islands and things like that, people don't have the available information that they're looking for. Like I said, we all resonate with different people. Somebody will say, oh, Narelle, she's type 2 diabetic, she did this, and they'll hear different things from my story and different things from your story. So the more we get out there, and Australia, I'm calling on you, reach out. Your story is important. You have a story to tell, even if it's just a little one. Today we've gone, a little bit longer because both Larry and I are talkers. And the fact is, we have been here for some time doing carnivore. For us, we both feel that this is a lifestyle change for the rest of our lives. Now, it has improved my life immensely as well. Like I said, just getting off insulin and almost off that last little bit. I'm a bit of I'm a little bit of a snail in a sense. I like to take things, allow my body to adapt, go on and do something different. But with carnivore, I've sort of changed right from the beginning, but I've also allowed my body to adapt. So I didn't just rush out and stop insulin. Within the first 4 days, I had to reduce it very quickly because I had stopped all sugars, I'd stopped all carbs, and I wasn't having that input into my body. So I didn't need so much. And then eventually, gradually, it came down further and further until now, 4 weeks without insulin. That's incredible, because you know what? You go to your doctor and the more they want is they just want to increase everything. Like you said in the beginning, it's about what pill can they give you next. Now, I just came from the doctor today. I had an appointment. I'd had my bloods done a week or so ago. My blood pressure was 108/69, which is probably the lowest it's ever been. Now, I hadn't eaten yet today. I have my meal about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on what's happening, whether I'm doing lives or things like that. And again, we're not telling people to cut out all your foods and stuff like that. There is a way to enter into becoming carnivore or eating the carnivore lifestyle way of eating. And I know that I have a Facebook page. I'm just going to go over there quickly, Larry, and give you a chance to have a drink of water, and then we'll come back. So I do have Carnivore Aussie style. It's only fairly new too, and I've only just come out last week about being carnivore, because I wanted people to basically, I wanted to test myself. Okay, I like to put myself to trial before I go putting it out there. I wanted to see what it did for my health. I wanted to see what it did for my diabetes. And in that, believe it or not, and I'm quite happy with where I am. But on the Facebook page, it is called Carnivore Aussie Style. You'll see my picture there. Like I said, I'm also quite new to this. It's open to the world. I put up a little bit of my cooking. I do eat a little bit of cheese every now and again. This is halloumi. Scrambled eggs. I sometimes have speck bacon, which I can cut a little bit thicker, fried eggs, things like that. I have different things up here, different little videos. I also have some stuff that comes in from the doctors. And this guy here, this is what made me choose to go carnivore. Back in 2015, I had open heart surgery. I had a triple bypass. Yes, the scar is there. It affected me so badly in the sense of the pain afterwards that I wasn't just releasing from the heart, but from many years of abuse and stuff like that. So emotionally, it affected quite dramatically. My recovery was very slow. I ended up with frozen shoulder, which caused another amount of humongous pain. Anyway, I wanted to know and make sure that this was okay for me as a survivor from open heart surgery and a heart attack prior to that. So I watched Dr. Philip Avadia, and this guy is a thoracic surgeon. He does open heart surgeries. He's from the US, I believe.